This time on Vintage Steel Garage we continue on the board racer and fashion a clutch arrangement thingy-me-jig. Okay, so I've come round to something I put off a couple of years ago. I need to come up with some sort of slip clutch arrangement on the board racer. So I've got the engine driving this way. This is going to turn this way and turn the back wheel. So, well, first of all I need to do something with the exhaust to create some more clearance here, because that's just not going to work at all, is it? So, obviously, maybe a step back. No, forget that. We can do the exhaust later, that's a minor detail. So I need to find a drive belt from some of the belts I've got up on the wall over there. There. Try some different drive belts on here. MacGyver something into working, pull a few faces, mess around and see what we can come up with. Right, let me do a bit of head scratching, contemplating, bit of pondering, bit of thinking, drinking a bit of tea and see what we can come up with, and I'll let you know if it looks like a good idea that's going to fly or maybe not. Alright, see you in a bit. So the first thing I've figured out, I think, is I need to move the engine forward, which ironically it looks like I did have it there before, because I can see there's a cut here and there's a well there on a similar angle. So I'm thinking I did have the engine farther forward at some point and then for some reason moved it back. I think it was probably more for aesthetics to just get it in the middle of the frame when I didn't really know what I was doing. So it's going to have to go forward. The reason I want to move it forward is this, there isn't a lot of play in here, and what I'm going to need to do is put a tension, I think I'm going to put a tension under here which will push up like that, and when it's pushed up with a little wheel on it, that's in drive, and then when it's disengaged there'll be enough slip on the belt. I'll have to get a bigger belt, there'll be enough slip on the belt to do it, but there's just not probably enough room here to get this tensioner to work properly. And then I'll fashion something up like this with a lever here and a pulley on that will go up. And I was either thinking I'll just have a foot peg sticking out, so you basically press it down to disengage it, let go of it and it's in, or I may fashion a lever up here just for aesthetics to control it, or I may even do both, have a foot rest and that, and you can operate it both ways. So I think the first thing to do is cut all these mounts off, move the engine forward. That will also solve another problem that I had, where the air filter wouldn't clear the frame, and I was wondering what to do with the air filter. You can see I can't get this air filter on because of the frame. So again, if I move that forward, that say 1.5 inch, that's going to put that back 1.5 inch. That's now going to be there, so that will fit in, and I'll fashion something up with the exhaust as well. So let's get that engine out, strip the engine out, and then move that frame forwards, and then I'll come back to you when I sort out the next step. In case you're following this build because you're looking to make your own, I just thought I'd show you the engine mounting arrangement. So I just got a bar here and 2 cross brace angles with a little bit of reinforcement to pick up on the engine mounts, and then that is a sort of basic transfer box arrangement to the back wheel. So it's just 2 pillar bearings there with a shaft through, going to a pulley on that side and a gear on this side to the wheel. So that's just going to gear it down on a ratio, I think it was something like 1:3, 1:3, so that should get the RPM down to give it about 20 miles an hour. Well, that's what I've calculated it at, but we'll never know until we've got it up and running. So what I need to do now is cut this here and cut it here. This is just a block of steel underneath for holding it flat on the bench. Take that off. That was an early idea of a pulley which didn't quite work, so I'll take that off, take that out, take that, move it forward. What I'm taking it forward, probably like about, let's say, 1.5 inches, so maybe taking it forward about 1 inch, probably not as much as I had before, and that will give me a little bit more play on the bearing. Sorry, give me a little bit more length on the actual belt for the tensioner here. So right, let's get that out and carry on. I've decided for better access to take the lay shaft out from here and then while I'm grinding and cutting, I'm not getting grinding dust and bits and pieces all over the lathe shaft. So I've taken that out, so it looks a bit extreme, but it was only 8 bolts, 4 bolts out the lathe shaft, 4 bolts out the engine, and it was out. So I think my plan is, I want to try and clean up this weld round here, maybe put a gusset in here for strength. I did have a strengthening angle piece here, but when I move this arrangement forwards, I may just have a piece dropping straight down here, and some gusset support in here just to strengthen this, because at the moment this just looks like it's going to flex around like that, which is no good. So I need to try and get this a bit more rigid, because it's just a bending moment on there. Move this forward 45mm. Still haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do on the clutch, but I'm sure it'll come to me. You don't have to think everything out, it'll soon come to you. So let's move the engine forward, gives us a bit more room, make this look a little bit better, and then see what we can do with some sort of pulley system. So it's a tad cold in the garage, look. Oh, freezing. Anyway, cut the tube out. Basically I've cut 40mm off the front, welded 40mm on the back. I'm going to weld that back in the bike, and that should move the engine forward 40mm, and then I'll make the next bit up after that. Talk to you soon. So this is a pretty handy tool to buy, a little angle finder. So I'll just show you what it basically does. It's just magnetic, so you stick it on there. It's coming up with, hang on a minute, got a bit of crap on the bottom of it. There, so it's coming up with 0.9 of a degree there. Put it up there. 0.9 of a degree, so obviously the bike's not completely level. Let's have a look at the headstock. There, I'd said it was 70 degrees. So there we go, 70 degrees. Pretty useful tool that. Couple of pound off eBay. Buy one, throw it in your toolbox. So there we go, we've got the engine back on, got the lathe shaft back on, and it's looking like we've given us a bit more room here, so we just moved the engine forward, as I said, 45mm. Still looks sort of in proportion, still looks okay, but it now gives us some more room, some more length between these two pulleys here for a belt. So the idea I'm looking at now is a belt round here like this for the drive, with enough play in it that when it hangs down, this will slip. So basically it doesn't engage, and then a lever here with a pulley on it that will push up, put tension on it, so it'll bend the belt in, grip on this wheel, and give drive, and then you'll knock it back down. So it'll be sprung loaded that it's always in, and you pull a lever. I'm thinking of a lever up here like this that you'll then let's I think what we'll have to do, we'll have to pull it, I think, which will drop it down to disengage it. You let go of it and it springs back, and then you've got drive. So I probably just need to get something across here to have a look at what sort of angle I need it on, and take it from there. You'll also see I've solved another problem. The air filter isn't catching on the frame anymore, so I didn't have to make any clearance or hack this filter to make it smaller. That now fits on nice and neat like that. So that's a bit of a result. I think actually what I will do before I come up with a clutch, because what I'm not sure about is the gearing of it. So it's roughly a ratio of 3:1 here and 3:1 at the back, dropping it down. So it's like 2 gear changes down from here to here, across to the smaller shaft there, and to the bigger one at the back. And I'm not sure if this gearing is correct, so I think what I might do is measure this size, get a drive belt that will fit that with no clutch, so I can bump start it. Now I've got it running better with the carb on, and see if I can run around and see what it runs like with like a fixed wheel drive. And we'll try that, and if that works, we'll then move on to a clutch. So I think that'll do for this episode. We'll get a belt ordered, get a drive on, see if I can go around, make sure I don't kill myself, and then if that works and I haven't killed myself, we'll look at making a clutch arrangement. So thanks for watching, please like and subscribe, and we'll do more on this, more on the Dart, more on the truck. We're actually going to Classic Le Mans this year, and we're going in the truck, so there's a bit of work to do on that, a bit of prep to do on that. The Dart's going to be up for sale, so I'm doing some work on that, and then that'll get sold, and then I can get my VW camper van, which none of you have seen, over here to the workshop and start doing some work on that. Thank you, thanks for watching.